Hi, this is Misha, and as promised, we went to the range today. This is Friday, June 1st. It's the day after the Polish Lynx pistol was released, and we ran what we had time for, about 150 rounds through it, and we're very happy to say that we had no malfunctions at all. We tried it mostly with Wolf Military Classic and Wolf Polyformance ammo, WPA, which was the same stuff that gave us trouble out of some guns in the past, including the Polytech Legend, and it ate this without issue. Alright, first shots with the WBP Lynx pistol. Feel the fireball. That was with the WPA.
Yeah, it's really nice with the brace. Just very smooth shooting. Like the fit finish on it is crazy good.
Now again, these are early days, still under 200 rounds, but we had several other things to do, and since it was cycling without a hitch, we had to move on. Now we've stuck a SB tactical brace on, as you see, which really greatly improved the pleasure and controllability of shooting. We had no troubles out of the provided WBP mag. And we did pop off the donut on the barrel. Just a small tack weld, we just took it off. Let's throw it in the door because I don't need any more, it's just a little nut. And of course now we have an exposed barrel. Now it is not threaded, but it is oversized where you can thread it 14 by 1 left hand, no problem. And more importantly, we do have a detent. We did not install this. This was underneath the nut. So your detent and spring are here. Once we get that threaded, we're going to install this flash hider we showed in our preview video. This is the smaller of the two. The two versions that Arms of America have, they're identical really, except one's a little bit bigger. They both seem to they both seem to have 24mm threads here with an adapter for 14. You can see a little set screw on the bottom. Take that out, you can twist this out and then use 24, but we'll use 14 because that's what the barrel is going to be. And as you see, it has the detent notches, so we'll time it up. This would act as a booster. If we had reliability issues, it could provide a little extra back pressure for better cycling, but since we didn't, really it's only going to be there for being a flash hider, which honestly with this 10-inch barrel, we need. Now I talked about the history of these through our preview video. I'm sorry, in that video I called this a mini Lynx, kind of going off the mini jack. It's just called the Lynx. This is specifically the Lynx Classic. We have a paint finish, side scope rail. We take standard handguards. I have the wood ones on, but it also comes with a polymer lower and a pick rail upper, combination front sight gas block. It is open topped, not closed. We do have the sling loop up here, pretty standard rear sight. XY stampings on the receiver, dimpled magwell. One thing I do think is neat, we have 3 selector markings here, although the middle isn't notched, of course, but it's there. A little aesthetic. We have this nice polished bolt carrier, which makes this a very smooth gun. I think Jay and I both agreed that it's a little smoother than, say, an M92 PV. The Polish pistol grip is a little bit larger than standard, which is always a good thing. It's not huge or what I would consider ergonomic, but it is a little larger and more rounded than your typical. The dust cover is pretty well standard, but as you see, it's a smooth top. It's made out of the thicker gauge metal. Some of your Tantals would have this style too. Pretty beefy. Recoil spring is standard. Have a standard single hook trigger group. The whole bolt group is this polished steel. It's kind of like stainless steel. It is treated. The gas piston is shorter. It's a shorter gas system than standard AKM, of course, for the short barrel. Firing pin is free floated. It's not spring loaded, which you don't need for 7.6239. No mushrooming of the carrier tail or anything. This is the piston head after firing. It's got a little debris, of course. It's dirty, of course, from being shot. We just came back. But yeah, overall, this held up, honestly, as you'd expect. No, my hands are dirty. You can look in there. There's really not much to see. It ran very, very well. This is a forged trunnion, not cast. The rear trunnion is underfolder. As some correctly pointed out, if you install an underfolding stock, it will not close fully because of the scope rail. So if you go underfolder, you will need to remove the scope rail, which can be done. Or you can go side folder, drilling the rear trunnion however you like, or using a brace adapter such as this. So there's still options. And folks, that's about all we have to say. I mean, there's, like I said, it ran just fine. A very smooth shooting pistol. It just needs a flash hider because of the big blast. It didn't overheat. The handguard stayed reasonable. I mean, it's a typical AK pistol. We definitely think the fit and finish is superior to most of all of your Dracos and Romanian types, and we do still think it's superior to your Yugoslavian types like the M92. It's definitely one of the nicest imported AK pistols on the market, perhaps with the exception of, say, the Arsenal SAM-7K. But ironically, even though the SAM-7K is based on the Krink, it has a longer barrel. It's a 10.5, 11-inch barrel, so this is a little shorter. You don't have to bob the barrel. You do have to thread it, of course, but that's easy to do with hand tools, and we'll talk about that in a later video. Gas system is short, but again, you do get both upper hand guards, so even though it takes its own short gas tube, shouldn't really be an issue. The quality seems to hold up to the CG1 Classic and Beryl styles that Atlantic assembled from WBP parts. The Polish FB-Radom hammer forged barrel, of course, is one of the best in the AK world. Receiver is mil-spec with the proper depth of magwell dimples. It takes standard mags without problem, metal and polymer. No, magwell works fine. Not really magwell wobble to speak of, out of the ordinary. Got the typical normal play you would expect from a military grade AK. Trigger is smooth, military grade, but in those terms, still quite smooth. I do like that the safety operates nicely. It's not too tight or too loose. Everything seems well done. The rivets are well done. They're not perfect, of course, but they're military grade. I know some talked about the markings on the receiver. Unfortunately, the ATF would not let Arms of America abbreviate this. They wanted the full markings, and unfortunately this is about the only place to put it. You don't want to put it in the back in case you want to do underfolding stocks, so that rules out this area. You really can't put it up here because of the dimples and spot welds. They did ask about putting it on the underside, either here or by the trigger, but the ATF would not allow it. They did ask. Scope rail takes up more real estate, of course, on this side. And then, of course, on this side, your whole safety selector takes up most of the real estate. So you're only really left with right under the ejection port on that side and where they put it on this side. At the end of the day, import marks are just one of those things we've had to live with now for half a century, 50 years. They passed that law in 1968, so woohoo, it has its birthday, I guess, this year. Just kind of one of those things. Well, I know a lot of you have ordered these, so we'd love to hear what you think of them when you get them in from Atlantic. Please comment below. If you like the video, please click like, and also check out, if you have not, our preview video on this where we go more into the history and details. And definitely keep checking back, as we'll keep doing updates. And if and when new WBP products come out, we will definitely talk about those as well. We really appreciate your time. And if you'd like to help support the channel, please click on the link and check out our Patreon page. Every little bit helps. We greatly appreciate it. This is Misha, and we'll catch you next time.